It's the new year, but it might not feel like it's actually a new year. Maybe your energy is still from 2023, or no matter what is going on, maybe you just feel like you're out of alignment. Being out of alignment, we can feel very tired, stuck, feeling like we don't know which next way to go. We have a desire to go to the next level of our energy, of our life, of our purpose, our spiritual abilities, but we feel like something's holding us back. And so I'm going to be sharing with you tips about how to stay aligned in 2024. So stay tuned. Welcome to Spiritual and Ambitious. I'm your host, Whitney McNeill. I'm a certified medium and spiritual teacher, and I help spiritual and ambitious souls just like you live your life purpose through your career and attract abundance by connecting into your intuition and spirit guides. Let's get spiritual and ambitious. Welcome to this episode. And before we get started, I'm pulling some cards from the Messenger of Spirit Oracle. And the first card is the water card. Allow it to flow. Let that shit go. Abso-freaking-lutely, let things go. It's time no longer to hold on to whatever's not serving you anymore. So that's part of why we can fall out of alignment, because we're holding on so tightly to something that no longer needs to be in our thoughts, our energy, our emotions, our physical body, our spiritual bodies, our whatever. It's just no longer for our vibration. So if you're trying to increase your vibration and align your energy, and there's a piece of the puzzle that's just not fitting in anymore, maybe you thought it looked really similar to the place where you thought it went in the puzzle, but it just doesn't fit, stop trying to force it and let it go. And the next card is listen to your inner voice instead of everybody else's opinions. That's a huge one. But I am going to talk about other people in this podcast and how sometimes it's really beneficial for them. So I'm going to first start with how to stay aligned. Well, when you're raising your vibration, when you're growing spiritually, it does not always feel good. In fact, we do need a lot of support sometimes when we're going to a new phase of our life, a new cycle. Whether you're growing your intuition, you're discovering or leaning more heavily into your spiritual abilities, maybe you're changing your life and moving towards your life purpose. Maybe you thought you knew what your life purpose was, and now you're in a pivot. Or maybe you want to just up level to the next stage of your life where you're receiving abundance and you want to expand your energy. Whatever your intentions are, everything is a cycle. Your intention is a cycle. A thought is a cycle. Your relationships, they're cycles. Your job, it's a cycle. Your life, it's a cycle. And you can speed cycles up, slow cycles down. And sometimes cycles are long, like lifetime cycles. And sometimes cycles are small. Lessons are cycles. Okay, you get my point, right? Too many cycle words. But there are 7 phases of a cycle. And every time you complete a cycle, you raise your vibration, you start moving into a higher place. And so what I teach inside of Aligned Spiritual Mentorship is the 7 phases of growth. And depending on what you're wanting to shift in your life, then there's certain steps that you can take to shift into the next phase. Sometimes we want to go from A to Z and skip all the growth. And that is not something we can do. So sometimes people are like, oh, I want to align. Why can't I align? Why can't I get my intuitive messages? Why can't I get the opportunities I'm wanting? Because your energy needs time to actually acclimate to the next new level. So there are different phases that you often have to go through. Now, the key is not to get stuck in one of the phases forever and ever. So the first phase is the awareness phase, where we just know something's off. The next phase is the awakening, where we start going, all right, I know something's off, and what can I do to fix it? I'm going to start thinking about options, researching, leaning into my intuition, receiving answers. Then we move into the growing phase, where we start actually implementing and saying yes to those things. Like, all right, I got my answer, my intuitive nudge, my solution. Instead of just investigating them, I'm actually going to go do the thing. I'm going to do the new routine for my health. I am going to do the intuitive exercises for my intuition. I am going to do the uncomfortable thing. The growing phase is where we feel very uncomfortable because we're breaking into a new phase of energy, a new routine, a new thought process, a new relationship, new job, those kind of things. And then after the growing phase, we move into the integrating phase where now it is not so new anymore and you've made it a staple in your life. Like I'm doing the thing. If you want to develop your intuition, the awareness could be, you know, I want to develop my intuition. Now I'm going to move to the awakening phase and see how I can do it. And then you find one of my classes. All right, I'm going to actually go ahead and sign up for one of Whitney's classes. And I'm going to start doing the exercises. Then the integrating is I am now doing all the exercises and it's part of my routine. Then you move into the healing phase where you start healing the old things that no longer serve you because you are now providing such wonderful, nurturing things for yourself. And then you move into the releasing phase where you are finally releasing all the old. And then you finally move into the embodying phase when you're embodying a new vibration. I see a lot of intuitive people get stuck in the awareness and they never move to the awakening where they just know something's off, but they don't want to really explore their options, or they explore their options, but they never actually do the thing for the growing cycle. So let's say somebody wanted a new job. They might go, something's off with the job. What could I do? They kind of think about their options, but they never move to the growing phase to actually apply for a job or start their business or those kind of things. Now, I also see people getting stuck in the healing phase because healers, especially, love this phase because it's part of their identity. However, they're afraid to let things go. If they release an old pattern, it's like their old baggage. It can feel very vulnerable. Like I'm naked now. I was carrying around this old coat and now I've given up the old coat and donated it. Now, who am I in this new vibration where I'm no longer staying in the healing because now I'm releasing? Same with losing weight. A lot of people get stuck in this healing phase where they are nurturing themselves, doing all these things, but they're too afraid to lose their weight on a subconscious or unconscious level because they feel exposed. They feel like they'll have more visibility. They feel like more eyes will be on them, whether that is true or not, because I believe everybody can have that visibility and exposure no matter what weight they're at. By the way, this is just some of our own shit that we store in our mind. So don't get stuck in the different phases. And the key is to move to a different phase. And if that's something you want me to help you with, then I definitely want to invite you to apply for Aligned Spiritual Mentorship. And our applications are closing really soon. So go over to messengerofspirit.com/aligned or check the show notes. And if applications have already closed, you can always join the wait list. So now let's get to some of the steps that we're going to need in 2024. And they're not even steps, they're tools, they're assets, they're things that we need to prioritize in our life to really stay aligned. So, number one is consistency. We have to be consistent in our new pattern, our new intention, whatever it is. So think about the growing phase. We need to be consistent in nurturing our idea, nurturing our energy, nurturing our intuition, our abundance. If we're not consistent in doing that, well, those things are going to fall away and not align. It's just something I use all the time is the plant. If we have this plant and we only water it here and there, it's probably not going to thrive. It might survive, but not thrive. And so that's why sometimes people just get intuitive pockets of information here and there. This is especially true when people say, you know what, my intuition will happen when it happens. Well, yeah, okay, but you're missing all of the intuitive messages you could get every day. So, whatever your goal is, whatever you want to align to, consistency is going to be important. But I say this with a caveat. I hate routines. I am not a routine kind of person. I want to be spontaneous. I want to do things when I feel it, when I just want to. So if you have a struggle with routine, because if you're forcing your energy into a routine, you're going to end up rebelling. Do something that is consistent for you. Maybe it's not every day. Maybe it's every week. Maybe it's every other day. Maybe you don't want to do it every time of the day. You need to attach whatever you're nurturing on a consistent basis. So let's say one of your steps to align your energy, and to have more peace is meditation? Well, attach it to a consistent thing in your day or week. So maybe it's every time after I drink my coffee, every time before I go to sleep, or every Friday before I go to sleep. So really do something that works for you and then make it fun. You can change it up a little bit as well. That's one of the things I struggle with in taking medicine is I don't want to have to take this every time or space out my medicine X amount of hours. So one of the things that I'll say is I am loving to myself when I do this. So really change your perspective. The consistency in developing your intuition, doing things towards your abundance, whatever your goal is going to be really important. And when we're not consistent, we lose our focus and we lose our momentum and our vibration starts to drop. So when we come back, I'm going to be giving you more things that we need to do in 2024. And when I say do, I don't mean things that take up time, effort, and energy. I mean priorities that we need to have in 2024 in order to align our energy. So stay tuned. As a professional psychic medium, I've done tens of thousands of readings, but I felt a call to move more fully into teaching intuition. But I still get so many requests about doing readings. So while I don't do readings anymore, I have brought in some very trusted colleagues who are now available for live 1 hour readings on Zoom. If you would like to book your psychic medium reading, go to messengerofspirit.com/appointments to see our available readers and schedule your Zoom reading today. Welcome back. We're talking about how to stay aligned in 2024. And I've told you about the 7 phases of a growth cycle to help you raise your vibration. And I talked about what we need in 2024 is more consistency. The next thing, more connection. More and more people are wanting connection with each other. When I look at businesses, we have had the online space for a long time. And I feel like the pendulum is swinging back to wanting connection with people and really feeling like you need that. Now, of course, connection with people who are high vibrational, people that understand you. But sometimes I feel like we've kind of lost our way because we don't feel a connection to something or we just are surface level connecting. So I'm talking about deep, authentic relationships when we're connecting. Now, this also means staying connected to your intuition. When shit gets real and we are at the lowest of lows, we tend to forget our spiritual practice. When that is the most important thing we need to be doing is connecting to spirit and staying connected in that consistent way so that we have this beautiful asset of intuition to rely on and determining what our next steps are and knowing and feeling the support that we have around us in the spirit world. But we also need to stay connected to people to help us. Sometimes we want to go into a cave and not come out. And that's okay. Sometimes we need to process by ourselves. Not everyone is an external process and needs to talk about everything. Sometimes we have to process it internally. And sometimes we just need to process it internally first and then talk about it. We're all definitely different and unique. But regardless about how you process information and energy, you need to stay connected to somebody or a group of people that actually get you. And this is why it's so important that I include community in any of my programs. I know firsthand that when I was first developing in my spiritual awakening and my spiritual gifts, and even when I wanted to start a business, I just had a handful of people that understood. My family and other friends in my life didn't really understand. They might look at me and try to understand and nod, smiling, but really wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. Or they're just looking at me and telling me, what the fuck are you talking about? So it's going to be really important that you allow yourself or take the action to seek out and find community that helps you. Sometimes when I say community, people think, a group gathering. Okay, I mean, that might work for you, but I'm talking about the people that really get you. And that's what I mean with connection. I had to really connect with other business owners to really help guide me when I was starting my business. Now, as far as my intuitive abilities, I needed to talk to other people who also were seeing things, feeling things, or wanted to from spirit. So I knew I was not alone. And so that brings me to the next asset, the priority that we need to stay aligned: support. Receiving support. Receiving, I'm going to highlight that word. That is allowing yourself to be helped, asking for help, receiving mentorship. So, this could be if you decide to work with me and aligned, receiving mentorship from me, or receiving support from the community as well. But regardless, you want to receive support from your spirit guides. And you want to receive support from your friends, those aligned friends that really get you and understand you. And this is what we need to help ourselves align. So I have more, but I just want to do a quick review. Being consistent to maintain and raise your vibration, doing activities, things that are high vibration that will keep you in alignment. That means saying no to things that are lower vibration. You've got to be consistent in order for it to integrate into your life. Connection, staying connected. Don't go off the map. You need your friends, you need people that understand you, and that's where it's important. Sometimes we think, you know what, I got to shut the world off. I got to disconnect. The news is really lowering my vibe. There's so many things going on, but we still need to stay connected to other people. We are all here and we are here to support each other, which brings me to what I was talking about, which is support. The next thing you have to do this year, self-care, especially if you're a giver and you're very generous. Sometimes you do not put yourself first, and it is time to put yourself first before you can help other people. Stop trying to overgive. When we overgive, we tend to overcompensate for something that we don't want to look at in our life. We sometimes feel like our value is in helping others. And while that is beautiful and wonderful, and there's nothing wrong at all with helping others because we need it, that's how we give and receive support, we have to sometimes say no because we got to take care of ourselves first. So if you have a friend out there that needs help, if you have somebody that is kind of just drawing your energy, you've got to prioritize yourself before you're in a good position to help people. I see a lot of spiritual business owners basically make plans with those high vibe friends, or maybe they make plans with themselves to have a spa day or to get a Reiki session. And then all of a sudden they say, "Oh, I can't make that. A client reached out to me and I need to see the client." And I'm so sorry, but I do a little eye roll, which is very judgy of me. But it's because I've been there and I'm just like, "Oh, I want you to learn this lesson. I had to learn it too." Your session, your client, it's probably not going to be great. You're going to feel really drained and tired. And you can even pick up bad energy from them if you don't put yourself first and make sure that you have other priorities. So self-care, so important. And we can get so out of alignment when we miss this. And this can be in the form of meditations, massage, going out walking in nature, listening to a podcast, whatever it is that you need in the moment, that's going to be important. And then the next thing is intuitive, inspired action. When you go inward first, which is when you are in self care, you are in a better place to hear your messages, to see them, feel them, or know them. I just talked to a friend today and she said, I've been taking this little hiatus. And because I have more clarity. Absolutely, because you're basically saying, I'm going to prioritize my own energy, get acquainted with it. And so, therefore, because I've done that, I now can take intuitive inspired action, not taking action for action's sake, but intuitive inspired action. So I don't have to make myself busy just because I feel really uncomfortable doing nothing. I can take the action when spirit gives me the hell yeah, go do this versus I'm just going to go through the motions like a robot expending my energy. You have to conserve your energy. So, consistency, connection, support, self care, and taking intuitive, inspired action. And if those things sound really great and you need somebody to help you, then I would love to see you apply for Aligned Spiritual Mentorship. Inside of this mentorship membership, we have weekly, consistent tools for you to heighten your intuition and alignment to your energy and your purpose, your spirit guides, and your abundance. And we do this through monthly channeled messages, monthly hot seat coaching with me on Zoom. And if you can't attend live, you can ask your question in advance and I'll answer it. And you just watch the recording. We do this through monthly guided, channeled, and Reiki infused meditations, a monthly theme, affirmations, and exercises. And then my very favorite is a surprise from Spirit every month. And we rotate our surprise. Sometimes it's a guest expert that comes in and helps you, teaches you about something new. We've had guest experts in human design, hypnotherapy, numerology, and in December, we had someone to come in and we did this release ritual, which is really beautiful. Sometimes a spirit surprise is extra hot seats or intuitive play days. That's where we get together live on Zoom. We partner you with another member inside of Aligned, and you do readings for each other to grow and enhance your intuitive skills. Whether you're interested in mediumship or you just want more validation on what you're getting from your intuition. Sometimes it's a spirit circle where we get together live on Zoom and we do exercises to increase our sensitivity to our spirit guides right then and there. And then sometimes it's extra workshops with me, trainings, or something else that's super special. So I'd love for you to apply for Aligned. You can go to messengerofspirit.com/aligned. Check the show notes for details. All right, here's to staying aligned in our energy, intuition, our purpose, and abundance this year. And I will be back next week with a brand new episode. But until then, here's to staying spiritual and ambitious. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you loved it, would you please share it with a friend? I would also love your review and a reminder to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find me at messengerofspirit.com and you can take the 4 Intuitive Languages quiz and find show notes there too. If you want to connect on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can find me at Messenger of Spirit. I'll meet you right here next week. Here's to staying spiritual and ambitious.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.